Have you ever felt a fire inside you? A burning desire so strong that you couldn't sleep at night? A dream so vivid you could almost touch it? And then you told someone about it. Maybe you told a friend. Maybe you posted about it. Maybe you gathered people around you and described everything you were going to do. And in that moment, it felt incredible. People nodded. They said wonderful things. They told you how talented you were, how brave, how special. But then something strange happened. The fire dimmed. The excitement faded. Days passed, and the dream that once kept you awake at night no longer pulled you out of bed in the morning. You couldn't understand it. The dream was still there, but the energy behind it was gone. If this has ever happened to you, then the story I'm about to share will change the way you see everything. In a quiet mountain town surrounded by forests and rivers, there lived a young woman named Amara. She was gifted. Everyone who met her saw it immediately. Her mind was sharp, her heart was full of passion, and her hands were capable of creating beautiful things. But Amara had never finished anything in her life. At 20, she announced she would write a novel. She told her family at dinner, her friends at school, even strangers she met at the market. People were excited. They asked her questions. They told her she had the soul of a writer. Amara beamed. She felt electric. That night, she sat at her desk and wrote 3 pages. Then she stopped. At 22, she declared she would start a small bakery. She described the recipes she would make, the decoration of the shop, the logo she had designed in her mind. Her mother cried happy tears. Her friends promised to be her first customers. The praise was overwhelming. Amara felt like she had already succeeded. She never baked a single loaf for the business. At 24, she told everyone she was going to learn painting. She bought expensive brushes and canvases. She created a post about her new journey and received hundreds of encouraging responses. People said she was brave for starting something new. She felt seen. She felt celebrated. The canvases sat untouched in the corner of her room, gathering dust. Year after year, Amara moved from dream to dream. She became known in her town not as someone who created things, but as someone who talked about creating things. Behind her back, people shook their heads. Some laughed gently. Others felt sad for her. Amara herself began to wonder if something was broken inside her. She asked herself in quiet, painful moments whether she was simply not strong enough to see anything through. The shame settled into her like cold water, heavy and still. One autumn, Amara's grandmother came to visit. Her name was Nadia, and she was a woman of very few words. She had spent her life weaving the most extraordinary tapestries anyone in the region had ever seen. Museums had written to her. Collectors had come from distant cities, but she had never once spoken about her craft on a stage, in a crowd, or even at a family gathering, unless someone asked. She simply worked, and the work was astonishing. One evening, Amara sat beside her grandmother and broke down. She told her everything, every unfinished dream, every abandoned plan, every moment of borrowed pride that had replaced real effort. Her grandmother listened without interrupting. When Amara finished, the old woman was quiet for a long time. Then she rose slowly, walked to her bag, and returned with 2 candles. She placed them on the table between them. She lit the first candle and cupped her hands gently around the flame, shielding it from the draft coming through the window. The flame trembled but held. It burned steadily, growing stronger in the quiet shelter of her palms. Then she lit the second candle and held it up near the open window. She called softly to Amara's young cousin playing outside. "Come, look at this beautiful flame." The child ran in, excited, and leaned close to look. Then another cousin came. Then a neighbor passing by stepped through the doorway to see. There was laughter, noise, movement, and cold air rushing in with every new person. Within minutes, the second candle flickered wildly and went out. The room fell quiet. The first candle still burned, calm and unwavering, casting a warm glow across her grandmother's face. Nadia looked at Amara and spoke in a low, steady voice. "A flame needs shelter to grow strong. When you expose it too early, to too many eyes, too much noise, too much moving air, it dies. Not because the flame was weak, but because it never had the chance to become what it could have been." She let the silence breathe for a moment before continuing. "When you tell the world about your dream before you have done the work, something happens inside your mind. It feels like progress. The attention, the praise, the excitement in other people's eyes. Your brain receives all of that as a reward. It believes the goal is already partially achieved. So the drive that was supposed to fuel your effort quietly disappears. You fed the hunger before you earned the meal, and now you are no longer hungry." Amara felt something loosen in her chest, like a knot she had been carrying for years, finally giving way. Her grandmother reached out and held her hand. "Your dreams are not broken, my child. You have simply been burning your candles in the wind." That night, Amara made a decision so quiet and so private that she did not even write it down. She chose one small goal, not a novel, not a bakery, not a gallery-worthy painting. She simply decided to weave a small piece of cloth inspired by watching her grandmother's hands all her life. She told no one. She did not plan an announcement or imagine how people would react. She just began. Every morning before the house woke up, she sat with thread and a simple loom she borrowed from her grandmother. She made mistakes. She unraveled sections and started again. Some mornings she felt frustrated. Some mornings she felt something that surprised her, a deep, quiet joy that had nothing to do with anyone watching. Because no one was watching. There was no one to impress, no one to report back to, no one whose approval she needed before taking the next step. There was only her, the thread, and the slow accumulation of honest effort. 6 weeks later, she held a small woven cloth in her hands. It was not perfect. The edges were uneven in places, but it was real. It was finished, and she had made it completely, from beginning to end, with her own hands and her own silent determination. She placed it on the table at breakfast without a word. Her grandmother saw it first. The old woman picked it up, ran her fingers across it, and looked at Amara with eyes that said everything. No applause, no crowd, just one pair of knowing eyes and a nod that meant more than any standing ovation Amara had ever imagined. She started her second piece the very next morning, then a third, then a fourth. She did not post about it. She did not tell friends she had found her passion again. She simply worked. Week after week, month after month, the pieces grew more refined, more confident, more distinctly hers. A year later, a woman visiting the town saw one of Amara's weavings hanging in her grandmother's home. She asked who made it. When Amara's name was given, the visitor requested a meeting. She was a textile curator from a well-known cultural organization in the city. She wanted to feature Amara's work in an upcoming exhibition. Amara agreed quietly. When the exhibition opened, people stood before her pieces and read her name on the small placard beside each one. They were moved. They asked the curator who she was, how they hadn't heard of her before, how someone this skilled had remained unknown. Amara stood in the back of the gallery that evening and watched. No one had known she was building this. No one had given her early praise that needed to be repaid with results. She had built it entirely in the shelter of silence, and now it stood on its own, strong and complete, needing no explanation. She thought of her grandmother's 2 candles,
the one cupped gently in quiet hands, burning steady and long, the one held up for everyone to see, extinguished before it ever had the chance to truly shine. Think carefully about your own life right now. Is there a dream sitting inside you that you have already told too many people about? Can you feel how the energy around it has softened, how the urgency has faded? Or perhaps there is something you haven't started yet because you are waiting until you have something worthy to announce. Here is what I want to leave you with. Protect your beginning. The early stages of any dream are fragile and sacred. They do not need an audience. They need your attention, your time, and your quiet, steady effort. Let the work grow in private. Let it become strong before the world sees it. And when it is finally ready, it will not need you to announce it. It will speak for itself. Cup your flame, shield it from the wind, and keep walking forward in silence until the light you carry is bright enough to illuminate everything around you without a single word. If this story reached something inside you today, share it with someone who is still searching for the courage to begin. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because every week we bring you stories that don't just entertain, they transform. Thank you for being here. Now go protect your flame.